Welcome to the Future of Sales podcast episode. My name is Régis Lemmens, and in this episode, we are going to talk about how the recruitment industry and the servicing industry has changed over the past, let's say, 10 years. My guest today is Amélie Alleman, who is an entrepreneur, but also a salesperson who has founded a company called Acros and also sold it and developed it into a full recruitment and IT consultancy company, and who for the last 5 years has started a new company called Betuned, also specializing in employer branding and using digital channels actually to help her customers to attract new talent. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Amélie.
Hello, Régis. Thanks for the invitation.
It's really great to have you. Amélie, in preparation to this podcast, identified there's two topics that I'd like to explore together with you. Because there's one side of you as an entrepreneur and as a salesperson, I'd like to hear about your experience. How has sales for you changed over the past, let's say, 10 years? But on the other hand, of course, I'm also interested, you help your clients to recruit new talent. In other words, you help them to sell themselves. So I'm also really interested in exploring that side of the business. And you talk a little bit about your new venture and, what has changed in recruitment and how do you do it? So first, Amélie, let's go to you. You as an entrepreneur, you founded an IT consultancy and recruitment company called Acros. Tell us a little bit, how did that go?
So, yes, I worked for 2 years for a big US company specialized in headhunting in IT. And then I resigned when I was 26 because I wanted to reinvent the recruitment process. I really wanted to go further. And it's why I decided to launch Acros Solutions. And so my focus was really to bring more added value to the recruitment process and to be more qualitative. So I launched Acros Solution in 2009. It was a very good period to start a first company. But
in the middle of the financial crisis.
Yes. That's correct. I thought, okay, if I succeed in this tough period, it will be easier in the next coming year. So it was a quite good success because we launched a second company across Europe 3 years later. Also specialized in IT recruitment, low profile.
Okay, great. And if you look back to those days, so you had to sell your company, you had to sell your services. How did you do it? What was your experience in that when it comes to sales?
I was quite young because I was 26 and my only experience of sales was really basic cold calling. So for me, it was quite a lot of volume, calling the client. It was quite difficult, quite high volume of call to get success. And the target was really to have a first meeting. It was really my target to have around 5-10 physical meeting with clients to really understand the need and then to start the process or to lose the client. So it was really my target. But I directly understood that as a founder of a small startup, the founder is the first sales. So you really need to represent the company and to get the same values of the company to develop the company on a proper way.
Okay. So, Amélie, you started really the hard way, and the cold calling, getting those first appointments. I think we all know how that works. It's very tough. If you then fast forward, because you sold the company in 2017, that's correct? Something like that?
5 years ago, yes.
5 years ago, yes.
Yeah, a bit
approximately.
Later, yeah.
If you just look at that period already, how did sales change at Acros? Did you still do a lot of cold calling at the end?
Not really, because a few years later, I've discovered the power of the networking. For years, I was alone in my office with the team, but really without real contacts. And when I won a prize, Transform Award for junior entrepreneurship in 3 years after the start of Acros, and then I really opened my mind and discovered that you can get a good network and the power of the network. So I also start to invest a bit more LinkedIn and social network because everybody was accessible to everybody. And I quickly understood the power to have a professional approach with a qualitative way of working. And then I was really more focused on the social network. I also start working with, for example, with a ghostwriter, and discovered also the limit of this way of working. But I was really trying to reinvent the sales process at my level.
Okay, when you talk about ghostwriter, I hear about writing content on LinkedIn and blogging and that sort of thing. So you were really involved into all the social media, the content, the digital marketing already to promote your business. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Because I had the physical events for my clients, but I also wanted to have a link with the virtual contact on LinkedIn and so on.
Yes.
Because as you know, when you're doing a recruitment, you can have quickly a lot of contact, and it was difficult to really get a return on investment of that. And so I was really trying to discover a new way to sell my service.
To sell your services. All right. So if we compare the way you were selling, let's say 2017 at Acros, and we fast forward to today, how different is that? Oh, I know that there's also a new company, new venture and everything, but if you just take abstract of that and just look at how you sell today versus 5-6 years ago.
Totally differently, but it was the basic. So I continue to discover the social network and the power of
Yes.
that. So I'm totally convinced of the power of personal branding, and also the employer branding, of course.
Yes.
So on one side, there is the branding of the company. As a startup, you need to really be the first image of who you are, what's the service of your company. So I really believe
Yes.
in the personal branding in an authentic way, and also the employer branding to differentiate yourself and to start a bit the storytelling. You need to tell a story to your customer and the candidates. And we are really working cross-channel. So, for example, we are using a lot the video on the different media. But I really develop a strategy on the communication side to mix the channel, but also the physical and virtual way of working.
Way of working. So what you're saying is that in the past it was mainly physical, and now it's more of a mixed, or is it the same?
But for example, in the past, target was really to have a physical meeting. Now, I have the impression that people know you via the social network, and the physical meeting, it's more to go further, because they already know your service, and it's more to really get a deal, to go further in the sales activity. They already know what you are doing on LinkedIn, Facebook, and so on. You can also send video to explain your activity. And the physical, it's really a step further in the sales activity for me.
Okay, that's an interesting one. So what you're actually saying is that the whole trust building, which is the first part of a sales process, you are actually able to do this fully online almost. I create trust through my brands, and I create my brand through social media and pushing myself through those media. That's correct? But also through remote. You also have remote meetings?
Yeah. I think you've got a e-reputation, and so if you've got a good network and a good production of content of quality, I think they already know you, and you are a bit the brand, and the founder and the brand, it's a bit the same. So you've got the trust of your clients. For me, I believe in that.
I want to come back to that, so the founder and the brand, but just to stick to the way that you communicate and you build trust. So it is online. It is also, do you also have online meetings?
Yes, but the COVID is a good accelerator on that points, on the virtual events, virtual teams and so on, but also on the video. The power of the video is a good way of working, and thanks to the COVID, it's easier to work on this way.
In this way, all right. And so what you're saying is that I delay the face-to-face meeting quite at the end of the process to close the deal more. Is that correct?
Yes, I try to. It's not always easy because in my service, I need to have a different decision maker around the table. So it's all the time easy, but I really try to make the first meeting introduction and to check if there is budget, the right decision maker, the service, if there is a good fit in a virtual event, and then to organize a physical meeting to really have the different key players around the table.
All right.
My target.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is that what we've seen is that there's also a report that came out from McKinsey who was actually suggesting that there is less and less time that customers spend with suppliers in a face-to-face meeting. They go up to 17, 18%, and then they say as well, you have to look at those percentages is not with one supplier. It's probably, if they're talking to 3 suppliers, that means that you only get 5% of that total purchasing time is spent in a face-to-face. So what everybody previously, all our guests were telling, those 5%, you got to make the best out of it. And so the question is, where do we spend them? Do we spend them in the beginning of the process? Do we spend them at the end of the process? And one of the things I was thinking, it was a hypothesis, was to say, let's spend them at the beginning to build trust. And so what you're saying, well, no, you can do this online. You can build the trust online, your e-reputation, as you're saying, and actually move these 5% as much as possible to the end of the process, where you can more or less start closing the deal. And is that correct?
Yes, but it's also depending of the experience you want to share with your clients.
Yeah.
We're working a lot with video and personal marketing communication. We are really trying to reinvent the recruitment. So I do a lot of communication, production of content on social network.
Yes.
And then on the physical meeting, I try to share what we are doing on the video and also the dashboard, the statistics and so on. And it's easier for me if I have the communication director, human resource director, marketing director, and the founder of the CIO. It's easier for me to talk the different language around the table than in a virtual meeting, because they are, for me, it's the way of working, but
okay, that's fine. So what I take from this is when it comes to aligning people, aligning the decision makers together, that's better done. That's what you say. I rather do that on face to face. So I got them all around the table and I can align the views and close the deal.
Yes.
That's correct. All right, great. So have customers changed? If you look back at the way you were dealing with customers or customers were dealing with you 10 years ago, and you look at today, have customers changed as well?
On one side, the HR profile, they are not so open to change management. So on this side, not so much. But on the other side, I realized that, before the COVID, I was really thinking they don't care about who I am. They really want to know what's your service, what's your key proposition or price and so on. And I was directly focused on what will I bring for you. And after the COVID, you realize that people, the purpose is back on the decision process. And so they really want to know what's your purpose, who you are, who's the team, who's the people behind the startup of the company. And so I really realized that at one time. And I think there is really, they want to work with people they appreciate. Of course, you do business with people with a capital of sympathy, and the purpose is really back.
It's really back. Okay.
Yeah.
What? All right. Why is that actually? Why do you think suddenly, over time, they find that more important?
But I think it's a big, maybe a compensation of the virtuality of the meeting after the COVID. You want a human approach. You have a lack of human interaction. You're working from home 2-3 days in remote. And when you are working with someone or when you are starting a relation with a supplier, you want also a human approach and to deal with someone.
Okay. So, I get that. We have too much
we are
virtual,
also working in HR. So it's human to human,
yes.
Human resources.
It's human, huh? It's human. Yes, absolutely. No, I was also thinking, just a question is that this is a very competitive industry you're in, the recruitment industry.
Yes,
so
totally.
I was also thinking, to what extent, at one stage, from a customer's point of view, you all look the same. And so the question is then, okay, they all offer the same services, they all do it the same way. So what is left to differentiate one of the other? And then purpose could be it. Like they have more values in line with our values and they would choose for you. That could also be an explanation.
When I was sales and younger, I really thought my personality will make the difference. And after,
Sure.
when you're the founder of a company, it's a bit you, the company, because they want to work with me, and after with Betuned, because first they know it's me, and then the company. We are not a huge company where you're working on a process and so on. First, it's the experience working with me, the way I will reinvent the recruitment. And then we start building the reputation and the company.
Yes. Let's come back to the you part of it, because a lot of other guests in the episodes have also pointed out, they said, it's not about your company. Nobody wants to see something about your company on LinkedIn. They want to see something about you, like you, Amélie. I want to see what you're thinking. It has to be personal. And a few people said a lot of companies get this wrong. They put messages out there which are from a company, but they're not personal. People don't react to it. So it's up to the salespeople to actually be active on social media from a personal perspective and to communicate. And that's what came out. And I hear this, you say this several times already. It's about you. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I think it's also more specific because I'm selling service. If you're selling a product, it's quite different. You want an iPhone, it's the iPhone. You don't care of maybe the personality of Steve Jobs and so on, play a game. But when you are selecting to work with a supplier for a service, I think it's more important.
It's more important to know the people.
I guess, yes, you're working with someone. It's the same in recruitment. Do you want to go for lunch with your client or not? With your supplier, it's the same. You will not make a winner with someone you don't want to have contact each week.
Yes. Well, let's stay on the subject and then talk a little bit about Betuned, because what I understand is that you help your customers now to do employer branding online. I assume you tell them, they have to be personal online. They have to be on a video. How do they react to that? Are they used to it? Are they open for it?
When I started Betuned, when I launched Betuned, it was before the COVID. I think it was a bit too early.
Yes.
But now I think it's a good time. The recruiters are not marketers, and they are even not digital marketers. The old way of creating, they are dead, the job boards and so on. It's done. The expectation have changed. They are used to buy something on Amazon with a few clicks, and they don't want to fill forms on websites. They want a fun, sexy digital experience. The same for the recruitment. And so you need to understand that you have to tell a story to your candidates. They want to know who you are. And to differentiate yourself, especially if you are looking for people in a penury, a lack of,
lack of resources.
Someone. The candidate that they want to know the brand, and in recruitment it's called employer branding. If everybody is fishing in the same pool, you need to differentiate yourself. And also to use the right media. For example, if you're looking for electrical guy on LinkedIn, it will not be a success. And if you are looking for an IT guy on TikTok, also it will not be a success. You need to understand the persona. You need to understand where you will find this guy and how to talk to this guy to convince him to send his CV and start the process.
Yes.
So yes, we need to reinvent the way of recruiting. That's it.
and how do they react? Because I know you're doing that through video. So suddenly, you get people out of their comfort zone in front of a camera. They have to talk. It's going to be recorded, spread over social media. And you said it yourself. HR is quite traditional, like steadiness, like okay. So how do they react? Are they open for it? Well, you may not have a choice, but.
It depends. Some companies are totally true corporate with communication, marketing, and so on. But we are also working. Most of the time, we are working with big companies who have human resource, marketing department, communication, and so on. But once they've understand the power of the video and also the power to what's important is if you are doing a video with a corporate way, you will not make a link with the candidate. We are specialized in communication, but with ad hunting background. It's why our target is really to make a teasing, to talk the same language that the people you are looking to recruit in a very short way, straightforward, and also to, I use my background. Okay, what was the question as a sales? What is the interest of a sales before to send his CV? And so I really try to understand what's the job description, what's the position, and how to attract the interest of the candidate, because each job is unique, each candidate also, and also to let know the DNA of the job and the company. So it's what we are trying to do in a video with the power of the video, and then to make a digital marketing campaign to reach the right profile.
The right profile, yes. All right, interesting. And, in preparation, I told you this in preparation of this podcast, I looked a bit online, what's happening, what are the big trends in recruitment. And it was kind of interesting to see, the top 3 things that constantly came up was social media. So you got to be active on social media, which is what you say, that's what we do. Employer branding, you have to tell a story and show you are. And the use of video. So it's exactly what you guys are doing, seems to be coming up everywhere as a future. All right, exciting. Then my last question, because I think that's really an interesting one as well for everybody, is what are candidates looking for? I looked a bit online as well, and I found some reports, and there was on LinkedIn, the top 4 criteria was remuneration, salary, of course, but then workforce balance, work-life balance, actually, flexibility, working from home versus, office, and then reskilling, the ability to learn new competencies. In your experience, are these the elements which are really important? Is this the story that an employer has to tell?
Yes, I think also the transparency of the company, because the purpose is also back in the recruitment process. More than 50% of the decision and the recruitment is based on the soft skills. So soft skills on one side and company culture on the other side. And so, they really want to know how it will be to work for this company, but it will be after the salary, the flexibility, and so on. That's the basic.
That's the basic,
the flexibility, because remote opportunity with COVID and so on, it's not like that. You can't renegotiate on this point. The salary is the same. For the same salary, after that, I want to have a good company culture. I want to have a good employee value proposition and so on.
Do you notice we had a few previous guests who really said, guys, we need to rethink about how we recruit and our culture, because the culture, the company cultures have to adapt to this new young people who are coming onto the market, which are really interested not by the same things that the older generation was interested in. Is this something that you see as well, that companies need to adapt, need to change their culture?
Yes, it's more, is the company culture bullshit or not? It's quite simple. Yeah. If the values are
authentic,
is it the reality or just words on the wall? If it's really the reality, then you need to share it and to make it come alive to attract the right candidates. But if it's bullshit, yes, the young generation will be more interested by authenticity.
Let's be honest, a lot of companies are in trouble then.
Anyway. Yeah, that's true.
All right.
We've got business to do.
Then we have some work to do. So it's a good time to be in recruitment and to be in this line of business then. All right. Amélie, let's leave it at that. And once again, I really want to thank you for sharing your insights and sharing your experiences and what you've lived through the last 10 years in your professional life. So thank you very much. So to all our listeners, thank you very much for listening to this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast series, The Future of Sales. And I wish you all a very nice day and see you in the next episode. Bye.